So I want to show you guys something really cool. I built out an application specific to a client that now pays me $5,000 every single month. And the crazy part is it's a pretty simple software. This thing generates leads, qualifies leads, shows the best way to approach them, and even handles cold email outreach with multiple different templates. Plus, it's got analytics, and the platform can be used across the entire company. Now, I didn't go out and hire a development team, and I also didn't spend months coding this myself. I built the front end on a vibe coding software called Bolt.new. I connected everything on the back end with N8N and then tied everything else into a database. The result is a fully automated, client-facing app that delivers real business value and recurring revenue to myself. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how it works, show you the features, and give you a behind the scenes look at how I pieced it all together. If you've ever thought about building something that businesses would pay thousands of dollars a month for, this application is going to open your eyes. So now that we're in the computer here, I want to quickly run through the entire application and give you a live scrape to show you how useful this is. And I'm able to show you this because this was just a prior demo version for this company, so it doesn't reveal anything confidential. So basically what I did was build them a landing page with their logo on it, and I gave them demo credentials down here. So let's go ahead and type this in. And once we get signed in here, you can see, again, their logo is everywhere. It has their services, key partners, target industries, ROI calculator, and then all the different analytics down here. The biggest part of the application here is the get new leads. So basically, this is connected through N8N, which we'll get to that later. But I just want to run a test scrape here and show you guys exactly how this works. So as you can see here, we're on the Get New Leads tab, and they're located in Houston, Texas. So we're going to keep that. And then these are their targeted industries. So let's just say aerospace and defense, we're going to select. And then all the different job titles, this can all be changed, but this is what they wanted. Let's say you wanted to find aerospace and defense companies and CEOs in Houston, Texas. You're going to click Start Lead Scraping. It's going to give you a little percentage modal down here to show you the status. And what this is going to do is run through an automation in N8N, and it's going to scrape Apollo and then return back all of the key information into our database. As you can see, within a few seconds, we just got a success notification here. And now we have all the different companies laid out and displayed. We have the company name, the website, the location, the employees, and then the revenue. We also have a contact. So we have a name, their job title, the email, phone number, and LinkedIn profile, which here you can see it goes to their LinkedIn. Then you have the industry, status, summary. As you can see, you can click on the website and it brings you there. The other biggest part of this web application is generating a summary. The key problem that this company was facing was that they came to me and told me that their entire sales team was going out and trying to find these leads as well as find the right person to pitch to. But before that, they had to qualify them to ensure that they were even the right fit to be working with, which meant scanning the entire internet for hours upon hours, wasting company time. The Generate Summary feature within this application does all of that within seconds and puts it in a format where it then shows you next steps and how you should approach this client. Now back on the screen here, if we click Generate Summary, what this is going to do is take the website and crawl the entire thing, as well as search for anything else related to this company. As you can see, we got a success notification back within about 15-20 seconds. Click View Summary, and as you can see, it gives you a company analysis report where it shows you literally everything about the company profile, founded, headquarters, etc. Technology infrastructure assessment. It shows you all of that, pain points, and then what this specific company's solutions are with this. Gives you a little estimated project value. Then it shows you recommended approach and next steps. You're also able to select all the leads, export to CSV. As you can see, everything got downloaded into one CSV file. You also have a feature where you can export to HubSpot, which this was a very early stage of the demo, and they didn't utilize this. We ended up just building out the rest of the application and built out a CRM so that they didn't have to go through multiple different apps. Same thing with the cold email down here. This is just a mock-up of the different email templates that you can use and send mass cold personalized emails. And then down here, we have analytics, which shows you a live analytics dashboard of everything that's going on. You have new clients, and then you have pending users. Now that you have seen this application, I'm going to bring you through a little bit more in depth on the back end and show you what I did utilizing N8N and how I vibe coded this software using bolt.new. We'll also get into a little bit of the database, which is hosted by Supabase. But for now, let's just take a look in N8N. As you can see here, we have the webhook, which the website, that button, the scrape leads button, calls the webhook, takes the user ID from the database or the account that is signed in, goes through a large language model to an HTTP request, edit fields, and then a respond to webhook. This HTTP request calls this webhook down here. And this is the actual like scraping part of the automation. And it basically goes through all these different if statements. The if statement right here is to ensure that the create URL is generated correctly. I noticed in the beginning that if features like the job title or the location or the specific industry wasn't transferred correctly, it would end up scraping Apollo without either of those key components, and it would result in an inaccurate return of leads. We prevented that from happening by adding an if node down here, where it makes sure that the location and business and the job title, everything is there, and it's set up where if any of these are missing, it will fail it and respond back to the webhook, and it will prompt the user that something was incorrect. Now it generates that URL, which you can see this is an Apollo URL. And then once it has that URL, it takes it and runs it through Ample Leads, which is another third-party software that scrapes Apollo. Basically, it says processing. It runs through this if statement, which basically it takes the status, and this if node is set up to if it's equal to completed or not. And because right away it will not be, it's set up to go into this continuous loop here where it waits 10 seconds. And then this is the status HTTP request from Ample Leads. Basically, it shows how many, if it's completed or not. It just tells you the status of the run, and then it goes back in loop. And then this is set up to ensure that it doesn't loop forever and it stops after a period of time. Basically, then it goes into an HTTP request, which then transfers all of the leads into the output of this node, goes through another if node. Here is to ensure that every lead that's getting passed on has a name and an email, so that's like the bare minimum. We can also prevent that from happening from the connected Supabase account, where we can make the columns nullable or not nullable. This is just an extra preventative step here. Basically, we just extract the data, we map everything out correctly. And then another edit fields, this is to take the user ID, which we'll get into that later. This just ensures that the user ID from the first webhook up here was transferred correctly, so that it returns all of the information and leads back to the Supabase account, which is specific to each user and their user ID. So basically, you'll get another respond to webhook, which will be a success notification when the leads are imported, as we saw earlier. And then this is the web scrape automation right below it. The generate summary button on the application calls this webhook URL up here. It then moves along to this edit fields node, which then maps out everything with the company size, revenue, and all the different key components there. And then it goes through using Firecrawl and then scans the entire website. And then all of that information gets passed on to a summary AI agent, which then updates the specific row in the connected Supabase account. And then it goes to a respond to webhook node, tell the user that summary was generated correctly. I know that was a lot of information to take in at once. I'm sure a lot of you guys followed along, but for the ones that have not, I can also create a little bit more slowed version and a more in-depth version and kind of walk you through the entire process. But within this video, I just want to ensure that you guys can kind of just see how it's set up so you get a broad understanding of how it works. Now I'll show you the vibe coding software that I use, that is bolt.new, to create the actual visual dashboard or the user interface. Now going back to the computer, this is Bolt's interface back here, where you're able to put in any text and it generates a better prompt for you and builds out the application. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect on the first prompt, so you have to keep on refining it and like talking to it like a regular person back and forth. And it just goes on and codes the entire thing for you and then you're actually able to publish it and then host it yourself. But as you can see, you type in anything and you can either have a discussion mode on here, an enhanced prompt, or anything else, and it'll go through and you can accept what you want it to do, and it'll code it live for you and then show you a preview once it's done. I don't want to go too in depth with this, but I can in another video. But it's pretty straightforward. Once you start playing around with it, you'll understand. Now heading over to Supabase. This is the connected database that we saw in N8N. This is where all the leads go, and everything is separated by this UID and this user ID over here. So within all of the different people that have access to the application, everyone gets a generated UID or user ID, and through all the different RLS policies and all the authentication, everything is segmented, so everybody has a separate user interface and everyone's data is not getting mixed between them all. All right, so that's the application that I built, and as you saw, it wasn't too overly complicated, but it solves a real business problem, and that's why business owners are willing to pay for it. The biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is that you don't need to be a professional developer or have years of experience coding to build something valuable that business owners will pay for. If you understand their problems and learn how to utilize the tools that are in front of you, you can create solutions that businesses will happily pay thousands of dollars per month for, because it's saving them so much money that it would be a no-brainer to take your offer. If this video gave you ideas or got you thinking, please let me know in the comments. And if you want to learn how to build more applications like this, join our free school community called Future Founders, where I'll be showing a lot more as to what I am doing. It's also a great place for you to learn as a builder or a student from a bunch of other people within the community. Hope to see you guys in there.